Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Money Talk with Melanie. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette. Very, very happy to be here with you this evening. Anthony Barletta, Corey Massey, Marc Logan, hi, welcome. I am coming to you live from beautiful Cape May County, New Jersey via SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. My guest today is the one and only Marc J. Logan Esq. He is the founder and CEO of Tidus Media, and he's going to talk to us today about his new book, 10 Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and in Life. Very, very excited. We're going to learn a lot today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Marc Logan and hopefully really embarrass him. I'm kidding. Because I've known him since he was a little kid. But anyway, Angelique Scholl is here. Welcome. Doug, hi, and welcome. For those of you listening in SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio land, I'm just giving some shout outs to people in my Facebook Live audience. But I'm really excited to have Marc back on the show again today. Susan Soloway, how are you? Welcome. Before we get started, a little bit about what is going on in the news. So much going on in the news. And, I do show prep kind of early in the day, right? And then on my way home, I listen to the news again. And I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to talk about anything that I'll have laid out to talk about in the news. I'm just kidding. A couple of things. President Trump says he's going to do DACA, kind of like no matter what, which I think we all kind of knew that he was going to do it with security, with a secure border, and not so much the wall. So I don't know. I'm a little. I'm going to reserve judgment until I get all the deets. But right now, I'm kind of okay. Now, what are you doing? We'll see what happens. We'll see. Nobody wants total amnesty. I don't think. And here's my take, and I think that I've said this before, which is I don't think that Americans by and large are evil. In fact, I know that we are not evil. I think for most of us, part of our issue is the sense that that the DACA kids are entitled to stay, and we're horrible human beings if we have some reservations about and it's not even all kids now. Some of these people are in their 30s, all the adults who qualify for DACA. It's not so much that we're upset that, hey, Virginia, Liam, hello. It's not so much that, it's that, listen, you've been here on our dime all this time illegally, and now you have this sense of entitlement, you absolutely belong here. And I said it, and that I have always said, it is the bigger issue, I think, for Americans. And we're have at least acknowledge our grace in allowing you to stay here. And then ask if you can stay. Don't say that you're entitled, because legally you're really not. And I think that's the biggest problem is being painted as these heinous people, these hateful people for wanting to get that situation straightened out. But anyway, so that exactly, it costs us billions. I actually did it, Susan Soloway. I actually did an article on that for the Horn News, for which I'm a freelance writer. And just the schooling alone is something like $14,000, $15,000 per kid. And it's a couple billion. And here's the thing, they will say, you'll hear advocates say that, oh, illegal immigrants don't get assistance, but their kids do. That's they don't usually count the kids as illegal immigrants, but they do. The kids, if they qualify for free lunch or if they qualify for whatever assistance, they get it. Ron Edwards is here. Welcome, Mr. Edwards. Good to see you. So I don't know how his base is going to take that situation with DACA. I think it's going to be interesting. And the other little tidbit that happened today is that Bannon's out at Breitbart. And I have various conflicts in that area. Since I do on occasion host at Sirius, so I'm going to just kind of leave it there. But that's what I heard today, is that he's out. I heard that on my way home as well. And that had not happened when I did my show prep earlier today. In other news, this is probably, I don't know if anybody had heard this yet, but starting on January 22nd, your driver's license is not going to be enough. We're going to have to get to fly anymore. You're going to have to get enhanced ID, at least in 26 states. Means in 26 states, you're going to be able to use your current license, but we're going to need enhanced ID, like a passport. And let me tell you something, and like going back to speaking of illegal immigration and the whole situation, I'm working on getting a new passport, right? Just a name change. I have to go back and get records literally from about 20 years ago in order to get my name changed on my passport. And without getting into the minutia of my personal life, it's ridiculous. It makes no sense. And I asked the person at the passport office, I was like, I said, you understand this makes no sense? And she was like, I know. And I asked her, I said, if I was undocumented, would I have to go through that? And she was like, no, but you are documented, so you do. Literally. So because I didn't break the law, I could jump through more hoops. It's wonderful. In order to get a passport. And by the way, the name that I'm going back to is like the name that my daddy gave me. The same one that's on my Social Security card, the same one that's on my birth certificate. And still, I have to get records. Ridiculous. So that's happening. What else is going on? And this is natural disasters cost the U.S., according to UC Berkeley, a public policy professor at UC Berkeley, cost the U.S. $306 billion this year. We had hurricanes, Irma, Harvey, we had Maria, and then we also had $265 billion. I'm sorry, we also had that was $265 billion, but then we also had $18 billion in the California wildfires. So it is just really going to be amazing, the toll that it's probably going to take on the economy. Just kind of scary that the numbers are quite that high. Okay, we're up against the break. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette. On the other side of the break, we will be back with the one and only Marc Logan Esq, and we are going to talk to him about his new book, 10 Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and in Life. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
We recently witnessed the Dow surpassing the 25,000 mark. Numerous major corporations are expanding operations, and Donald Trump's tax cuts are coming to fruition. But killjoy Democrats want to derail the Trump tax cut train. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards. On today's page from the Edwards Notebook, Mr. I want to tax everything that moves and breathes, New York Governor Cuomo said that his overtaxed, in-debt Commonwealth of New York is going to sue over the new tax law, which he said would harm his state through its limit on state and local tax deductions. The new tax law caps the state local tax SALT deductions at $10,000, which has been a particular concern for elected officials in New York and other high-tax states. And that's where the problem is, high-tax states. Mr. Cuomo, long before Donald Trump ran for office, New York was for decades overtaxing both residents and businesses. Your government and those before you accumulated a huge debt of over $62 billion. Why not do the right thing, sir, and lower your state tax and spending madness? You purposely ignore the successes of Florida and Texas, which have both lower taxes and budget surpluses. Maybe you should be sued for overtaxation, inhibiting regulations, and asinine spending levels. I'm Ron Edwards.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
My name is David Barnett, and I've been helping people buy and sell small and medium-sized businesses since 2008. So far this year, I've gone on 5 vacations. It's because I've got my own business. When you get tired of being managed by someone else and you decide that business ownership is right for you without the risk of starting your own unproven enterprise, then come over to businessbuyeradvantage.com. There are over 100 YouTube videos on buying and selling businesses that you can watch for free. That's businessbuyeradvantage.com.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how legally hiring your spouse and children can slash your taxes. Learn how to set up a business plan that minimizes taxes, the benefits of setting up an exit plan, how to avoid getting audited, and how to legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Visit TaxMama.com. Click on Ask a Tax Question to get free answers to your tax and business questions. That's TaxMama.com.
Welcome to this week's Money Talk with Melanie with your business diva, Melanie Collette. This week we talk 3 first steps to start the new year off right. Step 1. Start tracking your net worth. Your net worth is the difference between your assets and debt. Paying attention to your net worth lets you know whether you should be cutting back or if you can splurge. Step 2. Create a financial calendar. Set appointment reminders for things like remembering to pay your quarterly taxes or periodically pulling the credit report. Finally, step 3. Check your interest rates. Checking your interest rates is a great way to determine things like which debts you should pay off first or where you should open a savings account. And that's all for this week's Money Talk Minute with your business diva, Melanie Collette. Please remember to listen to Money Talk with Melanie Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Central, or 2 p.m. Pacific Time on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
And welcome back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I'm your business diva, Melanie Collette. And we had some technical difficulties during the break, but that's okay. I am giving the one and only Marc Logan a call right now to see if I can fix it. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
How are you doing? How's everyone?
I'm so sorry about that, but I'm glad we were able to get that fixed. I don't know why that did not work the way it was supposed to. Probably because I had to ghost my entire machine a couple of weeks ago, and like nothing has worked the same since. Probably something I need to fix. I'm sure. But, well,
no problem. It's no problem. We made it work.
Absolutely, and you are crystal clear. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am so excited about having you here. Oh my goodness, I'm cracking up because I get the most, even though my show has been at 5 o'clock every day for like a while now. I think since the summer, I get like the most phone calls and messages like while I'm on the air, which. I know other people who do shows who they experience the same thing, and I know I have a friend who's been on the air for 4 years, and like their friends always call during his show. It's actually become amusing at this point. But I'm looking at like other messages and stuff that are coming in while I'm talking to you. I'm like But anyway, welcome. So happy to be here. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit? Actually, I didn't even do your bio. I got so like put off by the. Let me do your bio first. The esteemed Mr. Marc Logan, Esquire, married, Esquire, good grief. And you'll see why I'm saying it in 1 second. He is the founder and CEO of Tidus Media. In addition to being a marketing, advertising, and branding expert, and also now author, Mr. Logan's a lawyer in both large and small firm experience. His background gives him a deep and unique understanding of the business development challenges legal professionals face in our digital world. Mr. Logan, in addition, launched Tidus Media because he felt an obligation to use his knowledge and experience to help others in the legal profession to overcome those challenges and help more people connect to legal services they need in the process. And in the meantime, in his off time, he wrote a book, which just recently launched, called 10 Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and in Life. So I'm not only just excited to have you here on a professional level, but of course there's another reason why I'm excited to have you here. Do you want me to tell it my way, or you want to tell it?
You can go ahead and tell them your way. I'm sure it's fine.
So I've known Mr. Marc Logan since he was in middle school. I am still 29, of course, but I've known him since middle school, when I was an executive assistant at the Haverford School many moons ago in Philadelphia. And he was a little guy who I knew had just incredible potential, comes from the sweetest kid, nicest guy, comes from a great family. His mother I absolutely just adore. And I think your mom used to sub for me from time to time too, if I'm not mistaken. But I just absolutely adore this. I shouldn't call you a kid. You're like, have your own family now and your own business, and you're like a CEO and author. I guess I can't like really call you a kid, but absolutely adore this man who is Marcus Logan. So very proud of you, Marc, and welcome.
Thank you so much. Definitely excited to join you again.
Okay, so let's talk about 10 problems preventing greatness in business and in life. Now, you're not an old man. You're fairly young still. What prompted you?
I think so.
So what prompted you to write a book like this? Like, where did you find the need or the hole? Usually when we write books like this, it's because we see some consistent need. Was that the same in your case?
Absolutely. And it was very, very unexpected, but, through years of my life experience, through years of research, through years of being surrounded by the right people, the right mentors, and all of those things, I actually started to notice that there's a really big problem that affects the majority of the people that we see day to day, and they don't even know they have these issues. So I'll take a step back for a second, and all of us have the potential to do amazing things, to achieve greatness, to put a dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs used to say, to really make an impact and craft a really strong legacy that's going to last generations even. But there are a lot of people, most people in fact, that are held back by these problems that they don't even know they have, and 100% prevent them from achieving any of these things. And ultimately what it does is it promotes the status quo. It promotes average, whatever your definition of average might be, but it holds people back from doing the great things that they're actually capable of, no matter how bad they might want those things. And clearly that's a big issue. And I really felt an obligation, once I started to realize these issues, to share it with people and allow them to have that awareness and be able to overcome them in their life.
I love it. And I will say this, just in having read like an overview of the book, I have not read it cover to cover yet, and I certainly plan to. This is not this is not one of those woo-woo self-help books. This is not, it seems very practical to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And, even more so than practical, it's very unapologetic and very in your face about what these issues are and how serious they are. Because, you're right. There are so many self-help books that are all like, touchy-feely, do this, think positive, all that stuff. And positivity is great and everything, and I'm a big proponent of it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when it comes to things this serious, you have to be real. So the whole book is very, very real, and the goal at the end of the day is for people to read the book and at least one problem be relevant to what they might be going through. And if one thing comes out of the book that helps somebody reach their full potential and make their life better and have them start getting exactly what they want out of it, then I did my job.
And indeed you have. I will say, I'm looking at the problems, and you list them each and kind of breaking it down kind of like in chapters, and they are very in your face. And listen, any self-help book that all it does is make you feel good and doesn't make you say ouch, in my mind, is not really helping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't read it and go, ooh, okay, that is an area where I need to grow. I say the same thing about the Bible. I'm like, if you're, or about going to church, I'm like, if you go to church and you feel good every Sunday, every time you leave, then you're probably going to the wrong church. In my opinion, there should be at some point in the sermon where you're like, oh, okay, hopefully maybe I'll have that together by next Sunday. I don't. and really, with your book, and maybe it's just me, I'm looking at a lot of these things going, ouch. And so let's dig in a little bit. You have a 10 problems plan laid out in your book, and the first problem that you address is the problem of getting defeated by victory, and you would not think that would be a problem.
Right. I mean, what if I told you that you were going to be successful and you were going to win at something? Would you tell me that would be a bad thing?
Absolutely not. I would say that's absolutely awesome. So why in the world would you have that listed as a problem?
Yeah. So the reason why that's a problem is because people win, but it kills their motivation to keep moving forward. They stop. They win. The battle's over. They won. They got what they wanted. And what's their next step? They celebrate. They take a breather. They relax. They enjoy some of the things that they weren't able to enjoy when they were in the midst of the journey to get to that goal they were trying to reach. And they stay there for far too long. They lose their passion, that fire that kind of had them going in the first place. And what happens is they start to slide back to almost to where they used to be. It's complacency, essentially. And people have this view of success as this mountain they're climbing, this rugged, rocky mountain that they're climbing up, and it's a struggle. And when they get to the top, they're there, and they have this solid ground underneath them. But the reality of the situation is that success is really more of like a muddy hill. It's more of a slippery slope, and it is a struggle to get up there. But once you do get up there, you have to keep moving. You have to keep going after the next thing, the next goal, the next peak, or else you're going to fall back into exactly what used to hold you down in the first place. You might be in a better place than you used to be, but you won't be moving forward. And I mean, let's be real about it. When you're not making progress in your life, I mean, you're not really living. You're kind of sitting around and just waiting for what's going to happen, instead of going after what you want.
That is very true. That is very true. And I don't know. I feel like, it's so funny. I had this conversation with a student today who told me that he had you're going to laugh at this, I think, that he has a life plan, that he didn't need my class, which by the way is financial literacy. I mean, 18-year-olds that know it all. He doesn't need my class because he has a life plan. So he is good to go. He does not. And I said, do me a favor, ask 10 people who are 10 years older than you about their life plan when they were your age and how it's going.
For sure. I mean, something that's really important for people to understand, and not enough people do, is that success needs to be earned and then re-earned every single day. Every single day, no breaks. earn it again and again and again. And ignorance of that is extremely dangerous.
Exactly. And I just wish, he's like, I don't have time for that. I was like, trust me, you'll thank me later. Like, ask. He said, how much older? Like, old like you? I'm like, no, 10 years. 10 years older.
Mm-hmm.
Ask them,
Mm-hmm.
how's that life plan going? And a lot of times, there's a lot of setbacks in life. So looking forward is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, something that is talked about a lot in the book, especially in that part, is that people, our brains, right? Our brains are wired to shy away from discomfort and resistance and struggling. Our brains just want to be comfortable. That's it. We want to be comfortable. We want time. We want to live. We want to reproduce, and that's about it. There's nothing really deeper There's nothing deeper going on in there. So anytime we run across any kind of resistance, any kind of a struggle, any challenge that's going to require some kind of an effort, our brains trick us into actually not doing anything, into making excuses, into being complacent, into sitting around and putting things off and all of these things, and making sure we never take action and we stay in that comfortable little zone that we had built for ourselves. And we listen to it because we don't know what's happening.
It's true.
If you do know what's happening, then you can, like, let's say you're aware of it, and you reach some goal that you've been trying to get for the last couple of years, call it. If you know that your brain is going to try to stop you from doing something more because it's going to be hard, then guess what you can do? You can assert power over it, and you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do.
It's very true, and it's so funny. I'm working on my doctorate. I'm in my third year, and I remember my education advisor saying, and it scared me when he said this to me. He's like, "Well, the good thing about this is you can take as long as you want because this is your last one." And I was like, it gave me like this, oh man, feeling. You know what I mean? Like, wait, like I'm done. And anybody who's a forward-looking, forward-thinking person, I think can understand why that was unsettling. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to be encouraging. He was like, the good thing about this is the last one you have to get. And I'm like, wait, like no more school after that? Like, there's no more school? So you really, it's just really important to have that thought of like, okay, what does forward look like? And somebody asked a question in the chat, Mark. Someone asked what your philosophy is about failure and how that plays into achieving success. I'll repeat that because I said it kind of fast. So what's your philosophy about failure and how that plays into achieving success? And that question is from Chris Gaines in the Facebook chat. I want to thank you for that. So what do you think, Mark?
Well, Chris, thanks for the question, and I'm going to be really, really honest here. I love failure. I love it. And failure, it has to become your best friend because it's the only thing that moves that needle of growth. Failure is the only thing that teaches us anything in life about success and what we're capable of and allows us to do it. And I'll ask a follow-up question to you and everybody else is, when have you ever learned anything from success?
You don't.
You've never learned anything from success. The only thing success has taught you is verification that you're capable of doing something and you did it. And it's basically watching a movie, and you finish watching the movie and you get to the end credits, and all you see that's left is the list of people who were involved in the production. But that's it. That's the end. It never moves you forward to the next thing, except for maybe a mindset shift that you're capable of doing something. But failure teaches you why you didn't make it happen in the first place. It teaches you how you can improve, doing everything with your approach when it comes to certain things, and it teaches you exactly what's going on with how you operate that's holding you back from doing what you want to do. And it shows you how to go bigger than before. So, you fail doing something, all of a sudden you're going to grow. And next time you attack that goal, you're going to be well prepared to accomplish that, get the mindset shift that comes with the success of accomplishing that, and then move on to the next thing. but success alone isn't going to do that.
That is, and you hate, it sounds like a cliche, right? Because you hear people say it all the time. Oh, well, there's so much to failing, but it is so true. And particularly for those of us who are a little type A or a lot of type A, a lot of those people have faced a lot of failure. Although on the outside, I think to people on the outside looking in, it's like, oh, they never fail. Everything always works out for them. But as a success, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And that's so not true. And I love sharing it with people when they think that. They're like, oh, this person just always wins. They're always winning. Like, how are they always doing all this stuff? This is ridiculous. And what they don't see is the behind the scenes. They didn't see what led up to it. The only reason I'm successful right now is because I failed. I continue to fail. I fail all the time. I fail every single day in some capacity. And that's the only reason why I'm successful and will continue to be successful, because I'm aware of that. And I understand that there's no reason to be scared of failure. It's inevitable. And if anything, it's one of the most beneficial things in the world for you and anything that you want to do in your life. And honestly, if you don't have the fire and the relentless attitude to go after something without fearing falling short, then you're never going to try. And where does that leave you?
That is so true. And somebody I think is in the chat. Donna McCleary, this is Mark Logan. Mark Logan. That's who the speaker is. Donna McCleary is in
Donna, how are you?
Yeah, Donna McCleary is in the chat roll and said, who is the speaker? I think you know him. So and I want to tell you, Mark, she said in the chat roll, she said getting fired from Haverford was the best thing that ever happened to her. And I had actually forgotten about that, and I'm like mad all over again. But that's a different that is a different show. But
I can kind of follow up on that. Sometimes we think that something that we're doing right now is good for us. We think it's the best thing right now, and the reality is sometimes what doesn't happen, sometimes what doesn't happen anymore is the best thing that could have possibly happened to you.
Yeah.
In the moment, it feels like is rejection. It feels like failure. It feels like I'm not getting what I want. Oh my God, my life is going crazy right now. What's going on? I hate this. But in the long term, it's the most positive, beneficial thing that could have possibly happened at that moment.
Yep. And Donna is agreeing with you. She says that's exactly what she was trying to say. But she sent you a woot woot, by the way. In the chat roll. But and I am so glad that Donna is joining us here today. And she and I are political foes, but we have a really good time. And it's so funny because other people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe she said that to you." And I'm like, "Chill, it's cool. We got 20 years in, we're good." So don't worry about it. But I'm so glad that she's here and she is listening. Yes, it's Mark. Pick up his book, by the way. Oh my gosh, I'm over for a break. But pick up his book. The name of the book is 10 Problems Preventing Greatness in Business and in Life. We're up against a break. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am your one and only business diva, Melanie Collette, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello. I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how legally hiring your spouse and children can slash your taxes. Learn how to set up a business plan that minimizes taxes, the benefits of setting up an exit plan, how to avoid getting audited, and how to legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Visit TaxMama.com. Click on Ask a Tax Question to get free answers to your tax and business questions. That's TaxMama.com.
And welcome back. Before we return to our conversation, I want to make sure that I thank my sponsors, the Tax Mama, Eva Rosenberg. You can hit up her website at taxmama.com. She will answer your tax questions for free. And she's an expert, been in the field for 20 years. And now that the tax laws have changed, you probably really want to hit her up for sure. I also want to thank David Barnett at businessbuyeradvantage.com. If you have ever thought about owning a franchise, your favorite franchise, he has all the information you could possibly want to know at businessbuyeradvantage.com. He's got hundreds of instructional videos. He's got a couple of fantastic books. And I'm going to get him back on the show. As he said in his commercial, that man's on vacation all the time because he is a business owner. And so I definitely want to get him back on the show. But you want to check out his website, businessbuyeradvantage.com. And briefly, Mark, Donald will kill me if I don't ask this. He wants to make sure that all is well with Darlene, who we absolutely adore, your mom, and she asked me to ask real quick. she's like, I know it.
Absolutely, she's doing amazing. She's doing amazing. All is well.
Oh, good. We're very glad to hear that. She was definitely. I mean, don't tell the other half of her moms this, but she was definitely one of our favorites. Just saying. Don't tell anybody.
You got it.
Absolutely. So I want to get back to talking about the book, and I absolutely love your direct and kind of in your face approach. Explain to me, I found this problem interesting. Problem 3, the anyone else mindset. Explain what that is. I don't think I've read that in any other self-help or business book.
Sure. So the anyone else mindset, I mean, it's a total killer of people's potential. It's a really important one that, I want people who read the book to take extremely seriously. People decide how they should feel about their circumstances throughout their life and what actions they should be taking, what they should and should not be doing based on how, quote unquote, anyone else would feel or what anyone else would do. And this destroys their identity and robs them of all of their independence, okay? It stops them from making their own decisions, and it puts a lid on their potential, guaranteeing that they'll never be anything more than the status quo because they're listening to other people in order to make their decision. Think about it this way. Who's ever taken a test or done a project or something like that and gotten a result that wasn't quite what they wanted to do? And then going to somebody else and just talk to them, say, hey, I did this and I got this result. I'm not really feeling too great about it. And then the response was, oh, look at that. Anybody else would be totally fine with that. Don't worry about it. Anybody else would be cool with that. I don't even know why you're stressing about it. Or they might say, well, a lot of people would actually be happy with that result. So be grateful. Or something along those lines, and it's something that people they accept that kind of advice from people. I call it anyone else advice because it feels good. It feels good. It's nice and warm, nice and fuzzy. They get a hug. They feel a little bit better about everything that happened, and that's all they wanted was some verification that they should feel a certain way about something. But at the end of the day, other people don't matter. It's your life. It's what you're doing, and the rest is just stuff. And if you start setting your goals and your expectations and everything that you want to do in your life,
yeah, that's
along
true.
along the path of what other people can accomplish, then you're only going to achieve what other people can accomplish.
And that could not be more true. And I say this every once in a while. I get on my soapbox about this very thing, but I mean this when I say it. I do not mean it as a cliche. Each and every one of us, as individuals, have something exceptional and different to offer, and I absolutely mean that, because it's the truth.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, every single person, and it's something I talk to my clients about from a branding perspective. In my consulting work, is that every single person, every single business, they all have this unique value about themselves, and they can all do something different than anybody else in the world, and offer something nobody else can get unless they work with them. And they just haven't embraced it. Sometimes they don't even know about it, and they don't know how to leverage it. But they're setting their goals and their expectations and their actions based on what they see from other people they're surrounded with, and that's their cap. And if you don't look to a higher plane of thinking and look at what's out there independent of what other people think, then you're never going to get there. You're always going to make an excuse of like, oh, that's not possible because this person did it this way and that's what they're getting. So I mean, I don't know how it's going to be any different for me. I'm doing the same thing, and it's handcuffs essentially.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Now, you say you have a problem on here, problem 6, that says people aren't on their purpose. Now, that is a typical thing that you find in self-help books, but I suspect you have a different perspective on what you mean by that. You said people aren't on their purpose. And that's a problem.
Yeah, and I do. Yeah, I do. And, when I say people aren't on their purpose, what I mean by that is that they're not focused on and committed to their reason for getting up every day, which is stuff that we've heard, before, obviously. But, where every single person, that I've spoken with misses the boat is that when you're not on your purpose, when you don't know what's driving you every day, and be very, very secure and cemented in that purpose, it opens up the door for the world to control all of your actions, all of your decisions, and ultimately your trajectory as you go about your day to day. So people, they're not properly equipped to defend themselves and fight back against the attack that life puts on them every day, which is nowadays from social media, from mainstream media, from friends, family, colleagues, from our organizations, our charities, all the people in our lives, and us being so data congested, and the entire world being after your attention every single second of every single day. That's a lot of things now in this new day and age that are coming at you. And if you don't know what your purpose is and you're not clear on where you're going and how you're going to get there, then all of that stuff will push you off balance and distract you from everything you're trying to do. And you'll end up deviating and going down a path you don't want to go on, or making excuses for stopping going down the path you want to be on. And that's what it means to be on your purpose, is to have this shield, if you will, to basically battle back against all the things that are being thrown at you, whether you like it or not.
Without distraction. And could there be anything more distracting than social media?
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. I don't care what you want to do in your life. If you go onto social media and you start aimlessly scrolling for an hour and seeing hundreds and hundreds of different opinions, different images, whatever, and people trying to get something from you or change the way you think or whatever it might be, then if you're not very, very clear on what you want to do and how you're going to do it, and passionate about it, and actually have a vision that's independent of everybody else, then you'll get caught up in all that stuff, and you'll waste precious time. You'll doubt yourself. You'll have new fears. You'll be distracted. You'll probably lose commitment. You're going to do a lot of things because you're vulnerable, and that vulnerability is what you need to get rid of. And purpose does that for you.
Excellent. That's an excellent point. Now, we're in the last few minutes of the show, and I didn't get to cover all of the problems. Oh, wait. I was going to let you pick right? I was going to let you pick another problem, but I forgot about fear of self-confrontation. And I definitely want you to address that. I'm sorry.
Sure. I mean, well, okay. So I'll be since we're finishing out the show here, I'll be completely upfront and honest that this fear of self-confrontation is one of the most real problems in the book. Not the most real, but it's a very, very deep problem here.
And how so? I have an idea, but how would you articulate that as being one of the bigger problems?
So people don't commit to success on their journey because that journey towards success, it exposes the ugly truth about them. It exposes their flaws, their weaknesses, their excuses, and the reality of their current situation. And that exposure, it ain't pretty. It's a report card back on all of your shortcomings, everything that's wrong with you, and everything about you that's holding yourself back from doing what you want to do. It puts all of that stuff right in front of your face, and it's not going to go away. And it's too real, it's too honest, and honestly, this scares most people because they're just plain not prepared for it. They're not prepared to deal with those things. They're too serious for them to actually say, oh my God, like, oh wow, okay, I'm gonna move forward anyway. So every day, this fear of confronting themselves, looking in the mirror and seeing all of these things that they now know are real, that prevents them from moving forward toward the goals they want to achieve. And most people, they don't have any idea how to break through that fear and to really, really look at themselves in the mirror and decide to smash the mirror and say, I'm going to go for it anyway.
Wow. And that is a serious truth there. I want to let you know, somebody sent me a message that they've been listening and they love what they're hearing. Just FYI for you. And
awesome. Glad to hear it.
I'm pretty sure they're not talking about me. Oh, sorry. I'm fairly certain they're talking about you. No. Yeah, but I wanted to share that with you. That somebody just messaged me that, and I'm sure they're going to they said they had to go, but I'm sure they're going to catch up with the podcast. Yep. Someone else in the chat just said, where can I hear the rebroadcast? Sounds good, but I'm getting here late. I will post, and I always post my podcast when I'm done, and I'm going to post it right after we are done here. I'm going to go ahead and post that. That is Mrs. Johnny Juanita Muhammad wanted you to know that she loved what she was hearing. But I always post the podcast once we're done. Generally, I have a meeting to go to right after today, but generally, as soon as I'm done, I post the rebroadcast. I also post the video if you'd like to watch on video, and the video will be on my Facebook page. So if you want to, play it and you don't necessarily want to look at me, feel free. But I also post the podcast when we're done. And some very good stuff here. The gentleman, Marc Logan Esq, is wise beyond his years, which is why he wrote the book. We have like 2 more minutes left. If you want to pick a problem that we haven't touched on that you think you really want to tell the listeners about, and also tell them where to buy the book, most importantly, go for it. Is there a problem that we didn't touch on that you think we should have? That's very important.
Yeah, it's a really important one, whether you read the book or not.
Okay.
I want every single person to really sit back and kind of reflect on this last one. I'm just going to touch on it briefly since I know we're running out of time. And it's about time. We have the most valuable asset on earth on our side, and that's time. And people aren't serious enough about that time. And one of the problems here in the book is the last problem in the book is lack of a positive fear. And what I mean by that is we have all these fears that try to hold us back. They try to prevent us from what we want to do and doing anything that we want to do in our lives. But there's actually positive fear. Positive fear moves us forward. And there's one positive fear, and that's the fear of regret. The fear of running out of time. The fear of saying, oh man, I had the window of opportunity to do this. I had it for a long time, and the only reason why it maybe didn't happen is because I didn't have the courage and fortitude to start the engine on what I wanted and go for it while that window was open. And now, toward the end, I'm sitting here thinking, what if I had? What if I had done that? And what if I had, just taken the jump? What if I had just taken that leap and done what I wanted to do? I could have been great probably, but I wonder if that's true. And the problem with that is that it's the debate in your head that you can never win. The jury's, always going to be in the jury room, and it's never going to come back and say, hey, you did fine. You're always going to be wondering if you could have been great. And it's it's your fault why you're confused about it, because you never tried. And that fear of regret is more powerful than any other fear in the world. Of the hundreds and hundreds of fears there are, that one right there can change a lot of things for a lot of people.
I love that. No fear of regret is a problem. And that is such a problem. I skipped the last break because we needed to get to that. And I'm so glad that I did. Marc, Logan, Esquire, thank you so much for being on the show today. I can't.
Thank you.
Cannot express how proud of you I am and how happy I am for you with the book and the launch of the book and everything. I posted the link in the chat. I'm going to put it again in the podcast. I hope everybody enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed interviewing Mr. Marc Logan today. And I hope you'll come back on the show, probably with a second book.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so it's always a pleasure to be here. And, I hope everybody, runs out and grabs the book. It's available on Amazon as a paperback and also on Kindle. You can get it there. And we'll share the link with you. And, until next time, everyone take care and be great.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank everybody in the Facey chat. You guys asked awesome questions, fantastic comments. I want to thank everybody listening on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. And of course, my sponsors, TaxMama.com and BusinessBuyerAdvantage.com. Remember, all of this is very important because after all, it is your money.